Been exchanging emails with a shooter in San Diego, Bobby, who suggested I look at the back of the Burano to see if it's got threaded holes to attach a different plate, and it indeed does. These look like maybe M3, M4. And then I saw there are these 4 Torx screws that appear to attach this rear battery plate. So I'm gonna pull those screws off and see if this whole V-mount is removable. If so, that'll be fantastic if I can just direct bolt on a gold mount plate. I removed the 4 Torx screws. There were 2 more small ones to the right of the BNCs. It's still stuck, so then I took these BNC retaining nuts off and the 4-pin. And unfortunately, the plate's still not coming free. It's too bad that the battery plate is the same piece that holds all the connectors in place. So I don't know if that's just some clips that are holding it in. I don't want to pry it, obviously, and risk damaging anything. I already got like a little gasket here that's popping out. So I'm gonna put this back together. Apologies for the fan noise, but it's a necessity today. It's 86% humidity and 82 degrees. 80F, 80. All right, so I need to tune the Burano for live TV. My FX9, this is the profile I've settled on, and I've got quad split running here, and I'm gonna hit record on the ProRes recorder. I wanted to send the menus from the Burano out, but it won't do it over SDI in this record mode, only HDMI. So it is what it is. I'll just have to talk my way through it. So on the FX9, this is my preferred settings for live, and we're in the custom mode, and instead of using the Cinetone look, I'm running the scene file that's the factory Rec 709, and then I've got the matrix enabled, the knee enabled with some custom settings. Let's just take a quick review here. Base setting SDR, and then if we go to paint, got the master black dropped -3. The gamma is on, and instead of Cinetone, I'm running standard 5 Rec 709. Here, we'll switch to, no, I don't want to switch right now. It's one layer up. And then the knee is on, and I've been playing with this at different varying degrees, but you can see I've got sat set to -20 right now. White clip on at 100 for broadcast. Details on for HD. And I have a lot of detail on this camera to try to emulate what the studio cameras and the other network ENG cameras look like. Skin detail on for this test. I'm gonna turn it off. Aperture off. Matrix is on. I have that instead of Cinetone. That is also set to BT 709. The 709 is just like more contrasty at the sacrifice of the highlights blowing out. Like, the camera's got less dynamic range, but it's a prettier, poppier look for live, straight out of the camera. And then in addition to the BT 709, I've got the matrix. This is basically like the color sat at +20. And then on the white paint side, I play with this every couple of jobs. Let me go back to white, but I've offset the tint in the magenta direction slightly. What is that? Shooting, whites. I think it's white setting. No, shoot. Well, white offsets. Yeah, see, I've got that at +10 at the moment. Extra magenta. I think that's the extent of my settings. Now, if we go to paint, at present, I've got the Burano in Cinetone mode. I think I enabled the matrix. We got to look through it now. You can see there's less saturation, and the highlights on the FX9 are starting to blow a little sooner, and obviously the FX 709 has got more magenta. We did shoot a white balance off a white card with both cameras under the Astro lighting. Those are running at 75% daylight, and the background's probably a stop brighter, and I've exposed for skin tones. Okay, on the Burano, I'm still in Cinetone, but the first thing I'm going to do is just increase the matrix level. Looking at the monitor here, I wish I had menus on the monitor. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. That's -40, -30, -0. There's +10, +20. See, +30. Okay, let's go +30. And multi-matrix we'll leave off. So that's pretty much it for, I guess in Cinetone there's no knee adjustment. Black, I'm gonna leave that 0 for now. Just check our scene file. So yeah, we're Cinetone. The big one I'm disappointed about that I hope comes out in a future firmware release is the skin detail. And even on the FX9, I wish this were more aggressive. Or in my old Betacam days with the digital heads, you could juice that up so it looked like a diffusion filter, but only on skin tones, which was wonderful for aging subjects or lack of makeup on documentary type of shoots. A couple notes on the Burano. I wish it had skin detail. You can see the freckles in his nose more on the Burano. It's just got more detail. Looks more television camera. Less cinema maybe? I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it, or it's a much higher resolution sensor. I've got button 2 mapped to change the crop between full frame 6K crop and Super 35. And the beauty with Super 35 is then clear image zoom is enabled, but I don't have the handle attached at the moment. But for news, I'm going to shoot a whole lot of clear image zoom. And then I've got button 1 set between high and low ISO. First test with the rolling wooden box. I won't have Apple boxes on it for the actual job. The hi-hat's going to be direct to the rolling box, and I'm going to use some deck screws with fender washers to fasten the hi-hat. And I think I need to make some handholds, like the Apple boxes, on each side of this box, because it's a bit difficult to manage. It's so big, 23 by 23. All right, Beck, thank you for your patience. Can you pack up the Astras and the monitor for me, please? 4 years of running the FX9, and it has evolved into the Franken-Cam that I have now set up for documentary and news, ENG. Shape handle is a must-have. I went with the MovCam VCT shoulder pad that is not sliding, it's fixed position, because a bunch of other people I was working with had already purchased the MovCam. I waited about a year before I started buying accessories for this camera other than the gold mount plate. But so I've got the top small MovCam top plate, the right rear side plate, and then I have a quick release for the Electrosonics receiver on a dovetail. I need that because I got to take it off to get to the BNCs, and then I've been running this 3-foot jumper just to patch in and out of the live view, so I'm not struggling with the recessed connector all the time. I've seen several other network shooters on the FX9 that are running the Electro receiver up here. That is a better position out of the way, so I'm not going to change my FX9. I'm happy with it. And then I've got this little small rig ball joint, inexpensive OC monitor for menus and framing. I don't use it for color exposure. I like it at the back of the camera, so when I'm tripod based, it's a little more comfortable. Same with the viewfinder extension. And then when I'm on my shoulder, my field producer can see my shots quickly. I've got the Sony old school URX analog receiver on the hot shoe. It's not hot shoe compatible, so it's cabled. That's to run my block transmitter with a stick mic, because I have not invested in electro block. Getting way off topic here, but so the FX9, trying to streamline things and simplify. I'm on 19 Studio at the moment, but one of my YouTube viewers emailed me, another Burano owner operator. Looks like they're also shooting news based on the photos he sent me, and they recommended this Shape universal side plate. They had it running on the aft end here, but I got playing with it, and I like having this D-tap back here. So I drilled a hole. This is slotted. I needed a longer screw for the top handle, and I put some gaff tape on the underside because the handle is tapered. It's not level, so it's gouging on this end. But anyway, I got some gaff tape to protect that a little bit. So I've got this on the front side of the camera. Feels pretty good. I don't have it cabled up just yet, but it's forward of the XLR connectors, so I can still get to these releases. And then when I need to switch between phantom and line, that just articulates up out of the way. I need to fit the shotgun mic on there. I might have a little bit of a clearance issue with these antennas. And then I've been running this small rig Noga style arm for the OC monitor. It seems to be working pretty well. But I don't think I need this Electro shoe. I can just go with the Shape Velcro attachment. And I didn't realize when I bought this D-tap that it's got a coily cable. I wish it were straight. I get this issue where I don't have enough clearance in my HDMI. So I'm going to take this battery adapter plate apart and see if I can relocate that D-tap to up here. Well, I thought I'd spend 90 minutes in the garage today, and it's been 6. Soldered some extension jumper cables onto the V-mount to gold mount adapter plate. So now the tap is located topside. I've just got a hole here from the old one, but there's no exposed wires. Maybe I'll put some electrical tape over that. Get the audio receiver installed on this new shape bracket and installed a small rig. I learned this from David Moorfield. Put this little small rig cable clamp on all of my cameras now. I got 4 of them. Just to hang my little earbuds. Normally I like wrap them around the battery or the viewfinder, but it always gets in a knot the next time I got to put them in my ear. So looking forward to trying that out tomorrow. And next I need to pull off the studio base and just put a tripod plate directly on there for the next 2 days of coverage.
Right, so here's my Burano setup with the F55 or F5 base plate, and this is the obviously CN7, and the way I kind of support it is using this clip-on mat box from Vocas, and then it's obviously got a little lens support here. So this is how I operate, and it seems to work really well, and it's much more lower profile than that Arri one you're looking at. I usually put a monitor on here, which is just on the back of that handle. And then on this side, I've also got this attached all the time. It fits in the bag quite well. Even though I don't really use it, it's there. But as you can see, I mount my electrodes here. So pardon this cable, it's a bit of a mess. It just goes in here, and I can still actually access all of my SDI inputs just fine without having to sort of do anything. And as you can see my XLR inputs are there as well, but I can just hinge this out of the way just to get in there real quick if I need to, which I quite like. And I said I've had these custom cables made from Gotham Sound, which are nice and thin and small, and they're color coded as well, so you can see what's going on. But yeah, this seems to work really well for me. So yeah, it's all just like tied up with a bit of gaffer tape on the back and a couple of Velcro straps. And there's a bit of Velcro on the outside there, so people can put their tentacles on it and what have you. It'll probably change when I get the bright tangerine stuff with the, the top plate and all the extra bits. But this is how I've been rocking it just for now. And it seems to work pretty well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Sorry, it's all a bit messy trying to do this with one hand, but yeah, you're the expert at doing all these vlogs with one hand. But yeah, there you go. Oh, and just another quick solution, which I was going to show you. This is like my V-mount to gold mount adapter. And again, I've only got sort of 2 D-taps on it. I've actually got 3. This one here, which is pretty good. I actually have ordered the one from mid-45, so I'm going to wait till that comes. But this is quite a nice little bit of kit from hawkswood.com in the UK. It just goes from 1 to 4, and it stays in there the whole time, so it's nice and compact, which is very good. I mean, these aren't great, these do kind of get in the way a little bit, but yeah, one's powering the radio mics the whole time, the other one is powering the lens when I use the CN7, but most of the time I'm just using either the Sony stock lens or Sony primes or Sony zooms just for the autofocus stuff. But if I have to rock this bad boy, this is pretty much how I do it.
Just finishing up pulling gear and prepping for a 2-day assignment in Corpus Christi. This is an annual project I do covering the Corpus Buck Days Rodeo. Each year I follow along a couple of specific athletes, and if they advance forward, then the content gets cut into a feature package which airs on CBS, among other places. Historically, I've taken the van down there, but the last couple of years my wife and son have come along and bought tickets, and they just attend the show as regular spectators. And we stay at the Omni Hotel downtown, which is a decent venue. So this year I decided it's the same kit every year. I don't need the whole van, so I'm gonna ride with them in the pickup truck. Go one vehicle versus two. And so I checked with the producer just to make sure it's the same plan and scope, and it is. So I've got 2 baby stands, 1 C stand, 2 sandbags, and then an Astra and 2 newer panels. I've never used more than 2 lights, so I have a third just as a backup. And I got my run bag with 6 gold mount batteries, 2 travel chargers, a couple of different P-tap to USB chargers, Lightning and USB-C cables for phones and iOS devices. We're gonna run 2 lav mics, maximum of 2 people interviewed at the same time. So I got 2 XLRs, 2 Sanken Cos 11s, wired in TA5 to run wireless on the Electrosonics, or I have XLR adapters so I can go hardline. Basically, before the show, I can go wireless, but during the show, I can't transmit. It's gotta be hardwired. Tripod, FX3 in case we do some gimbal shots, but my primary camera will be the Burano this year. Got this all prepped yesterday. The Electro receiver installed. I've got card readers and spare cables. Cards are here. No base plate. I'm just running a Sachtler touch and go on the bottom. And the only 2 lenses I'm bringing are the 28 to 135, and I have a 24 to 70 on the FX3. And then if I end up shooting, the one combo I can't do is 28-135 on the FX3 outside because I don't have a screw-on ND that fits this lens, but I do have a screw-on that fits the 24 to 70. I'm not going to bring the matte box. I do have square filters or Panavision size for the matte box. And then I do have a dovetail with a small rod, flat base with no rod console, but I won't need that. It's just a backup. And then I've got the side handle, which I'll be using for handheld. Well, no credentials yet, so you just look the part with a cartload of gear and everyone smiles at you.
The leadership program is about coaching
Side by side, it's time. Yeah, it's quite a bit bigger. Yeah. Does the 6 come with an eyepiece?
No.
It does?
The 9 does.
Still figuring out when stabilization, active stabilization, no stabilization, when each is the best. Active, I'm finding when I'm tracking action, sometimes it's stable and then it causes a big jump as it falls behind and catches up. This is just standard stabilized. It's one of my first shots of the night. It's not going to make the package. It's just practice for me. But this was also in AF mode, and I'm going to tune it a little bit tonight because the box would target on the young lady on horseback, but then some other times it'll like find a face in the audience in the stands and rack to it and then back to the action I'm tracking. So I got to figure that out tonight. I ended up for some of the critical stuff, I just manually focused, and also found I was best to shoot at like high ISO and an 8, 5.6 to an 8. the shoot side of the stadium was a good stop and a half darker than the other side. Yeah, that's pretty shaky. So I discovered clear image zoom is disabled when in high speed mode, slow and quick, but AF is still operational, which is new to me because on the FX9 there's no AF in high speed. But I understand that is available on the FX3, and I would assume the 6 as well. Oh no, yeah, it's usable, but won't get used. Too much headroom. I've got some like a maybe 10% box in my frame lines, and I realized when I was shooting I was thinking of it as look around area that's not in the capture, but it actually is all full underscan image raster, so I'm going to turn that box off tonight.
You know, just thank everybody for coming out here tonight, and hope for the best in the next round.
Now, the thing that's different about this event is you guys actually get to pick your own stock. And with you coming in number 1, have you looked at the list?
I have looked at the list, but I have no idea which one to pick.
Okay, all right. Well, we can't wait to see if you can win this rodeo for the second time in 3 years. Give it up for California.
Well, let's keep paying them. Thank you so much, Donnie. You're going to see Donnie, our bullfighters, and our rodeo royalty. They'll be signing off.
How many of you are ready for the bareback rope riding and the 3 finalists? First up, Nick Pelkey, the Mondoney, Wisconsin cowboy, the man who won the 6 World's Toughest in Des Moines on a great bucking horse from Frontier called Night Fist.